Welcome to Lesson 3-3. Today we're going to be writing and evaluating numerical expressions. Expressions are just things like 3 plus 4, 2 times 3, n minus 6. Numeric means they're just numbers, no variables. And evaluate, well, that just means get the answer. We're going to be doing this with a little help from one of my most trusted advisors. Behold, mighty, mighty PEMDAS, the goddess of traveling mathematicians. Under her guidance, you too will arrive at the correct solution. If you do not follow her most holy orders of operations, you will be sad and you will get the question wrong. So follow her advice, follow her rules, and everything will be peachy keen. What are these magical orders of operation? Well, they're just rules to tell you in what order to solve an expression. So one way to remember that is PEMDAS, that's parentheses, exponents, multiply and divide, add and subtract. Notice how I wrote this. First is P for parentheses. Those are like two big hands waving in the air saying, me, 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 me first. So you should. E is exponent, the most excellent exponent. You'll do that second. Then notice the multiply and divide are grouped together. That's because multiplying and dividing, you're going to find are the same thing, looked at in a different way. But for now, just know that they are of the same importance, and you're going to solve them left to right, whichever comes first, just like you read a book. If multiplying comes first, do that first. If dividing comes first, do that first. Same goes for adding and subtracting, equal importance, and later on when you get into negative arithmetic, you'll find they're basically the same thing. So they're done left to right as well. So there you go, parentheses, exponents, then multiply and divide, and finally add and subtract, kind of from the hardest to the easiest. Okay, let's start with our first problem. Now, notice this has parentheses, but it also has these things on the outside. They're just brackets. They work the same way as parentheses. It's just a way to see which ones are paired up with which ones. And now, since we have parentheses within brackets, we're going to work from the inside out. So what I would like you to do when you do these is just underline the step that you're doing. And then what you're going to do is just copy the rest down exactly the way you see it. Now brackets are basically parentheses. So I'm going to solve that next. And then finally I get my answer of 20. Let's do another. This time I have parentheses, two pairs of parentheses. So I'm going to do those first. So 6 plus 5 is 11. And that is squared. See how this exponent is on the outside of the parentheses. That means what's in the parentheses gets raised to the second power. And 2 plus 7 is 9 to the second power. Again, everything in the parentheses has to be raised to that power. And so this is 121. Take away 81. And I get an answer of 40. Stepping right up with difficulty, again I have parentheses within brackets, so I'm going to work from the inside out, and I'm going to do this first. If you need to do that on the side, you can, but that answer is 4. And then I'm going to copy everything else down. And now I still have brackets, which are basically parentheses, so I'm going to do those next. Now all the parentheses are done. So I'm going to move down. Remember we have PEMDAS. And these are the same and these are the same. So I'm going to work to exponents. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 to the second power is not 8. 16. And then half of 16 is 8. And I get my answer of 2. We have one more problem. I'd like you to take a stab at that. Go ahead, follow the rules as PEMDAS laid down. Do not anger her, and then you too will arrive at the correct solution. All right. Behold, mighty, mighty PEMDAS. Did you follow her rules? I sure hope so. All right, now we're upping our game. Now we're adding some decimals to the equation here, or the expression, I should say. Following the rules of mighty, mighty PEMDAS, I'm going to start with parentheses from the inside out. So I'm going to start with this. If I take 3/4 away from 6, I'm left with 5 1/4. Divide by 2. And I have 2 5/10 squared plus that times 2 to the 5th power. I still have parentheses in the form of brackets, so I'm going to do that next. Over here on the side, I'm going to do my little arithmetic, changing my mixed number to an improper fraction, then keep, change, flip. And I get 21/8, which is 2 5/8. And that's going to be times 2 to the 5th, and that's going to be added to 2 5/10 to the 2nd power. All right, next I have two exponents. So I have 2 5/10 to the 2nd power, and I have 2 to the 5th power. Let's figure those out. 2 5/10 to the 2nd power is 2 5/10 times 2 5/10. Forgetting about the decimal point initially, I get 625. I have 2 places after the decimal point. 1, 2, I get 6 and 2500. Lastly, I have 2 to the 5th power. That's just 2 times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2, 5 times. This is 8. This is 4. That's 32. Boy, the journey is long and tiring, but I'm going to get there. Now I am faced with addition or multiplication. And Mighty Mighty PEMDAS says we always multiply before we add or subtract. So I'm going to do that next. So I have 2 5/8 times 32. I'm going to change to an improper fraction. I'm going to change 32 to 32 wholes. I'm going to cross reduce. Get 84 over 1, or just 84. I have to add 6 2500ths to 84. Lining up my decimal point. And I get 90 2500ths. That's my answer. Okay, for this last part, you need to add the grouping, the parentheses, to make it true. It's trial and error. So as I'm looking at this, I'm looking for things that might cross cancel. I'm looking for things that might give me my answer. I want an answer of 10. So I noticed that if I put my parentheses there, that becomes 40, and I can take 3/4 of 40. So I'm going to try that. And if I cross that out, I get 40, take away 30, which is 10. All right. Now you're going to try on the next one. Give it a shot. Finally, we have our straight up practice. I want you to try these out, give them a shot. Some of them take longer than others, but I know you can do it with the guidance of PEMDAS. All right, have at it. See you next time.